What is up, guys? Random Onium here. Today we're going to be talking about the 2016 regional qualifier. This is going to determine which teams get to go to Worlds for NA and EU. I will be discussing the playoff results for both NA and EU. So if you haven't seen that and you don't want the results spoiled, this is your spoiler warning. But the way the Worlds works is that both NA and EU get 3 teams. The number 1 seed from each region is determined by who wins the summer split. That's going to be TSM for NA, and it's going to be G2 for EU. The number 2 seed is determined by who has the most amount of championship points. And then the number 3 seed is determined by who wins the regional qualifier. So that's what we're going to talk about with the rest of this video. So over on the NA side, we can see TSM is automatically qualified. They won the summer split. And the number 2 seed is going to be CLG. Even though they did worse than Immortals and Cloud9 in the summer split, because they won the spring split and got 90 points for winning the spring split, they have more championship points than both Immortals and Cloud9, so they will be going to Worlds as the number 2 seed. That leaves Immortals, Cloud9, Liquid, and Envy to fight it out for that last spot at Worlds. So the way that the regional qualifier works is that they actually seed the teams based on how many championship points they have. So if you have more championship points, you have a much easier road to get to that number 3 seed. So we can see Liquid and Envy, they had the lowest amount of championship points, so they will be facing each other in a best of 5. The winner of that match will face Cloud9 in a best of 5, and then the winner of that match will face Immortals in a best of 5. And whoever wins that matchup gets the number 3 NA seed. So you can see that Immortals, all they have to do is win 1 best of 5 and they're in. Cloud9 has to win 2 best of 5s and they're in, and then both Envy and Liquid have to win 3 best of 5s in order to make it to Worlds. But that's not to say that Liquid or Envy will not make it. Cloud9 actually did that feat last season, and they were able to reverse sweep multiple teams in order to go to Worlds as the number 3 seed. But it's extremely difficult. So I would definitely say that Immortals is definitely the favorite in that tournament, but Cloud9 did beat them. So it's just a question of whether or not Immortals is going to step up and get that revenge in order to secure that number 3 seed. Over on the EU side, we can see the G2, they won the spring split, they won the summer split, they are going to Worlds with the number 1 seed. The next team that has the next most amount of championship points is H2K, surprisingly. H2K, with getting 4th place in the spring split and 3rd place in the summer split, gives them 100 championship points, which is just enough to beat out Splice, who only got 90 championship points for getting 2nd place in the summer split. So H2K will be going to Worlds as the EU's number 2 seed. That leaves Splice, Fnatic, Unicorns of Love, and Giants to fight it out in their regional qualifier. So we'll see Unicorns of Love versus Giants, which is a rematch of the quarterfinals for the playoffs for the summer split, where Unicorns of Love actually beat Giants. So it's a real question of whether Giants can step up and get revenge on Unicorns of Love. Then whoever wins that will go up against Fnatic, and Fnatic has not been looking that good. So I definitely think that they are a weaker team in this qualifier. Hopefully they can straighten out whatever problems they have. And then the winner of that will go up against Splice. And whoever wins that will get the number 3 EU seed. I definitely think that Splice is the favorite in this. They got 2nd place, in the summer split. And they've proven that they're one of the best teams in EU. I think they're definitely the favorite to win the regional qualifier and get that 3rd spot. So what does that mean when we go into Worlds? So when you go into Worlds, all the teams are broken up into 3 different pools, and each group is made up of 1 Pool 1 team, 2 Pool 2 teams, and 1 Pool 3 team. So it's very important what seed you are, because that determines what pool you go into. So you can see that the number 1 NA team, which will be TSM, they go into Pool 1, while the number 2 NA team goes into Pool 2, and the number 3 NA team goes into Pool 3. EU, because they perform so poorly at MSI, they don't get a Pool 1 spot. So their number 1 team from EU is going to be Pool 2, as well as the number 2 team from EU. And the number 3 team from EU will be Pool 3. And you can see that the number 1 LMS team took their spot in Pool 1. So that's going to make the road a lot harder for EU, because traditionally the Pool 1 teams are better than the Pool 2 teams, which means that the EU teams are going to go up against stiffer teams in the group stage. And the way that the worlds will work is that each team will be drawn randomly to make these groups, but there are certain rules. So, first of all, each group is made up of one Pool 1 team, two Pool 2 teams, and one Pool 3 team, and each group may only have one team from a given region. So, for example, the number 1 EU team could not be in the same group as the number 2 or 3 EU team. So you'll never see two teams from the same region facing off against each other in the group stage. They will possibly face off against each other in the elimination stage, but they're guaranteed not to face each other in the group stage. So this is just a hypothetical drawing of the team, so you can see how things would break down where, maybe the number 1 NA team winds up getting, one of the wildcard teams, one of the China teams, and one of the LMS teams. And the way that the group stage works is that it's basically a round-robin format tournament. The top 2 teams will go out into the knockout stage, and then there it's single elimination, best of 5s until you get to the finals. And whoever wins the finals obviously wins the world championship. So I hope that makes a lot of sense as far as what's going to happen with the regional qualifier, how different teams can get to the Worlds, and which teams have already qualified. If you guys have any questions, please leave comments below. I hope you all have a great day. This is Randomonium signing off.